First of all, I'll give honor to Ms. Sarita and even to you guys. Good afternoon. My name is Lilisne Sulanita Manwa and I'm from the English Literature Study Program at Pamulang University. And here I'm going to give a presentation with topic about government efforts to deal with street vendors. But before I get into this topic specifically, the presentation will be in three parts. First, and what is that? So, without further ado, let's start it. Firstly, I'd like to talk about what is street vendors. There are some points that I've written before based on research and survey. The first is someone who sells food or other goods in the street or on the sidewalk. I think this is a famous thing in this big city that we meet every day because it is impossible in this big city if there's no street vendors. Next, mostly selling using cards. 3. Offering their goods late to the public without having a permanently good structure. Something like they always move from one place to the other places or from one place to the next places. 4 is self-established business with small capital. That is right. And the last is sometimes considered in a legal business. Why? So we'll discuss it in the next slide. So please stay see being in this presentation. The next slide talk about the number of street vendors in Indonesia. First, according to an estimate by the Indonesian Street Vendor Association, or called as APKLI, the number of street vendors nationwide reached roughly 22.9 million in 2013 and was increased in 2016 26.7 million. So let's see this diagram to make a more detail or more clarify, something like this. The next topic is the factor of increasing number of street vendors. I think the big problem in this country dominated by the lack of venture capital. It could be an 35% problems in this country every year. The second position is urbanization, which is moving people from village to the city, and it could be in 25% every year. The third is limited of education background, maybe in 20% every year. And the next is lack of job vacancies, maybe in 20% every year. You can see in this, guys. So the next slide is, well, there's the three parts that I explained before this topic. So in this topic, relate in the topic in this presentation that I give today about how should the government respond to the existence of street vendors. How about this? Municipal police, street vendors, how they will be related to each other. Let's see this part. Part 1 is discipline the street vendors, something like driving away them and confiscated their goods. I think that's natural things that the municipal police do for the convenience of the pedestrian in this country. Moreover, when the street vendors broke up the rules, something like sells anywhere without permission or sell in the narrow sidewalk of the street. 2, the main important point is provide assistance. The first is provide access to business land, something like provide a place to manage their business or to establish their business. 2, provide venture capital income. Actually, this program has realized in 2018 in Bali and hopefully still being continuing to this year. I mean. 3 is provide of access to socialization, something like how to establish the business, how to manage a business, how the business doesn't make a trouble in the society, especially in this country. 3 point is urge street vendors to pay taxes. You know, to pay taxes, it makes reciprocal between street vendors to the government in this country. When the street vendors fulfill their obligations, the government has no reason to be ignored anymore. And especially with tax payments, street vendors isn't categorized as an illegal micro business anymore. Well, the next is maybe we always give bad charge to the government, especially regarding street vendors by their violence. And let's read this part, especially in Banten, Jakarta, in Bali, and in Bandung. So I think that's there was a good things that government does, government do in this country. So before I finish this presentation, I'll give main points as a conclusion. I think the first is street vendors are those who sell on the road street or on the side while using cart. 2, the main cause for the increased number of street vendors is lack of venture capital. 3, the government shouldn't ignore the existence of street vendors. Last is empowering street vendors is better than driving them out. So it was my presentation today. Thanks for the attention. I apologize if there are words or sentences inappropriate or inconvenient in this presentation. Okay, thanks a lot. Good afternoon.